storefronts. Been doing that for what, 6 years, I think, going on 6 years now. So let me give you kind of the agenda for our session today. So what we'll do is I have a video that I play up top, which is, it does a pretty good job of sort of explaining who we are, what we do, and at a high level. I know a lot of people on this call are like, yeah, I have an idea of what you're doing. And then many others are like, are you guys a website company? Are you a marketing company? I have no idea what you do. Ultimately, more importantly, how can we help you, right? So I'll go ahead and play that video. It'll go usually like about 20 minutes. The chat will be open the entire time that video is playing. So if you've got questions about anything you're hearing, anything you're seeing, you can leave them there. And I will either address those once the video is over, or if it's easy enough to do, I can address them while it's running. And then after the video, we'll want to open it up to the Q&A. And this is where you guys can ask literally any question that you might have. And it can be about anything that we do, or pricing, the marketing, the software, anything there, soup to nuts, or, perhaps even more importantly, like, where are you in your business? Are you just getting started? Are you trying to figure out how to sell your very first piece? Are you struggling with niche selection, or pricing, or website this, that, or the other? Whatever it is, I talk to more artists and photographers on a week in, week out basis than probably just about any human alive. Been at digital marketing, specifically in this industry, how to sell more art and photography, for 5 years, and I have data on 4,800 customers. So I know what works, I know what doesn't. I've got some very good insights about the entire digital marketing piece, marketing in general, and I'd love to help you. Whether you ever become a customer or not, the Q&A is without question the best part of this session. So we'll get into more of that on the tail end, and yeah, we'll see you just right after this video. Go ahead, April. This is the homepage I'm talking about that we just recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos of me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. We get pigeonholed as they're a website company. They're a website company. And yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, art storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website, because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, okay, and buying art online is A, an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction-filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, okay, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer, okay? And so really, everything that we do with our software is attempt to solve for this friction, okay? To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And, it's never any one feature. It's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select the media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, how is canvas different than metal. Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, Such a visual process, buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? We're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker. Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. Another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is we have this feature. Excuse me, mute that. Called Live Preview with AR. Okay, and what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone. Can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right hand side. And without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says Live Preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so, again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of, I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction, and you never know which one's going to end up, if we think of a sports analogy like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them. It's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of back-end software. It turns out running an art business, art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down, okay? Things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your webpage for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you, and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back-end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back, okay? Let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here, actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self-fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. We've got Bay Photo on the West Coast. We've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada. And then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise, and I'll get into that in a second. How does it work? You sign up. You get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button. It says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid. You get paid. The order gets printed. The order gets boxed. Your logo goes on the side of the box. Boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin, okay? Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably what, like a month before Christmas, maybe, we integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds, hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. They can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and a number of different other items. We've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44, and what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page, great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize, again, like artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with the lens. You want to monetize that talent, okay? So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say too that we're adding calendars, and we're adding puzzles, and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the number one iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best-in-class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is, email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now, okay? And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support-related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, we ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that, so I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is their marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter, all over this country and others, every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just past $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step-by-step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust, and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day-a-year marketing calendar, okay? It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week-in, week-out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it, and you got through the beginner level. And then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works. It's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome, okay? Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do, okay? What not to be spending your time on, right? And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers, and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI out of marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? It's what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours, okay? We take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week, and we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks. We go over the calendars. We talk about wins. Somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it. Here's the copy. Here's the Facebook post, and you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough, okay? If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers, and I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode, and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers, I have 75 people taking action on that sale, and it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? You know, myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need a kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes, and that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated, Okay. There's no trolls. There's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And artists are sharing with other artists. Photographers are sharing with other photographers. The people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing this same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? So that collectively is the Art Business University. And it's like a college. It really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And, in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly, you feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim thins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need to be able to have the ability. If you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life in order are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder. Tell us to build the site. We'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte or it's, up almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media, and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time, okay? Guilty, and if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be I would go and run a case study with a customer, and, I'd have limited bandwidth to do that, and then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or probably 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming onto the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, and we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency, and we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar, we jump in the boat in the same time, and if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's Art Storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation. Just realized I'm wearing the same shirt as that video. I promise there's been like 20 runs of this thing, and finally the shirt has been duplicated. So that explains at a macro who we are, what we do. I know there's probably going to still be a ton of questions, things you'll be confused about. But I'll say, the majority of the people that are on this call think they have a website problem. The biggest problem they have is a website problem, and it's not even close to the biggest problem you have. You all have an attention problem. You all have a massive attention problem. You need more eyeballs on your art or your photography if you want to sell more of it, and really that's our secret sauce, is teaching you how to do that. You know, in addition to everything that you heard about in the sample video, some sort of new things that have emerged even since that video has played is, you know, we're really working, we're taking this whole like art business university, art marketing university concept really pretty seriously. You know, everybody's been to art school or been to college or been to school, and, you know, you learned a whole bunch of things, or maybe you learned how to use a camera, or you learned about the masters, but there were never any classes on how to build a business that you can actually support yourself with, right? Or how to market your art or photography business, or how to get more AOV out of your art or photography business, AOV's average order value. And that's really the biggest need that we feel like we're filling. And what started out as, you know, weekly office hours where you come in, Zoom call, talk about the thing, courses that we created ourselves, how to run Facebook ads, how to go live on Facebook or Instagram at the same time, how to go live on Facebook and Instagram with a phone, a computer, and an iPad, all of those types of things that we would teach. We've now opened it up to our customers to teach classes too. And we have one gal that's really, really good at licensing images. She's made hundreds of thousands of dollars licensing her work. So she came on and she taught a class on how to get your artwork licensed. You know, what does the legal ramifications look like? How do you negotiate it? What you need to look out for contractually. We've got another guy that is like the commercial art specialist. This guy's got his photography hanging on the wall in like 16 different banks throughout the Southwest. He just is the master of somehow getting banks to buy his work. So he's taught classes on how to sell commissioned work like that. We're going to just keep adding classes. We've got a gal that's like the merchandising expert, and we're talking about what class she's going to teach next, and on and on and on and on. And I'm not kidding. We want to be the Netflix of how to actually grow an art or photography business into something significant, something that pays the bills and allows you to even make a full-time living off of it. So that's sort of our MO, our mantra, where we're going. And it's been some exciting times. So I think at that point, I'll open it up to the Q&A. There's a couple different ways that you can ask questions. At the bottom of the Zoom window is like a little participants icon. And if you click that, there's a way you can digitally raise your hand. And then that just lets me know you have a question. I can unmute your mic and let you come on. If you want to do it that way and you don't want your camera on, totally fine. Totally get that. I hate being on video personally, so makes sense. All good. Audio only is fine. If you are leaving questions in the chat, I will get through those one at a time. And then we also stream these things on all of the social networks, or a couple of different social networks. So if you're leaving your questions there, you can ask those as well, and I will answer those directly. And so, okay. Start with you, Lauren, in the chat. You're saying, so outside of the marketing university, the art business university, is any of the actual marketing included? No, we don't do any of the marketing for you. We teach it all year long, but we don't like pay for your ads or pay for your emails. And in terms of email, yes, you need to use an email service provider. And I might as well unmute you, Lauren, because you've got a couple of questions in here. Lauren, if you hit like the little microphone icon in the bottom left-hand corner, what that'll allow you to do is we can just talk. And so did you get it? Let me see. Oh, maybe you didn't get it. I can't tell. Maybe you don't want to unmute. So we don't pay for your Facebook ads. Email, we encourage you to use an email service provider. The one we recommend everyone uses is MailChimp. It's free up to a certain number of emails, so you don't pay for it at first, and then once your list starts to grow, you do. Also, oh yeah, she said she's got a napping toddler. No, all good. Is the website we have through ASF a replicated website or individual? Yeah, it's a template. It's completely a template. We've spent a whole bunch of time, energy, and effort coming up with a website template. We obviously have a couple different ones that you can choose. But with the website template that we know is really effective at converting visitors into buyers. And our website templates are very, very simple and minimalist. They're meant to replicate the experience when you walk into a retail art gallery. What happens when you walk into a retail art gallery? Usually white walls. Only thing that's prominent is the art, maybe some nice furniture decorations. And so there's a number of things that we do there to make sure that the conversion rate is really, really high. So you have some design options, and then what changes the sites is the most important thing, right? The work itself, your logo, your about me, and and the rest. She's asking as a follow-up, is it indexed by Google or can they search for me specifically? Yeah, it's not a marketplace. You own the website. So, when you submit the sitemap to Google, which the whole process we go through, yes, they will eventually type you in a web browser and find you. But there's some layers to that, right? Like if your art is up on Fine Art America and Etsy and a whole bunch of different other places, that might be the number one result for a while until your website takes it over. Bruce is asking, how do you differ from web hosting sites such as Smugmug or Wix? So some things are the same. I think Wix, you can use your own URL. Smugmug, I'm not sure technically whether you can use your own URL or not. By URL, I mean, Bruce, like if you have bruceedwardsart.com or photography, as I'm assuming you say Smugmug. Let's just say you have bruceedwardsphotos.com. Obviously, that could be your art storefront's install website. And then in addition to that, it's really not even close on a feature by feature basis. Smugmug is, God love them. They've been around for a long time, but they haven't updated the software in quite some time, not substantively anyway. And so there's a little old and tired. Wix, on the other hand, is made to sell everything, right? So like it's not custom tailored to selling art or wall art specifically at all. And ours is built from the ground up to do literally just that and only that. So yeah. Does that answer it, Bruce? I'm going to unmute you too if you like. You just have to hit the microphone icon in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yes, that helped. Thank you.
Yep, gotcha. Did that answer it? Are you a photographer out of curiosity?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
I recently retired from broadcasting. I was a video editor,
Nice.
news editor, and now in my retirement, I want to really push my photography forward.
Awesome. Well, you got one ace up your sleeve already, which is when you start talking about the marketing, those video editing skills are going to come in handy, my friend. Let me just tell you.
So I've been told. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. It'll help massively. What sort of stuff do you shoot?
Landscapes, cityscapes.
Landscape, cityscapes.
Primarily.
And
I'm in the Washington D.C. area, so I get a lot of stuff around the mall and Capitol and White House. But of course, right now with the fences up and whatnot, that's kind of not really happening.
Yeah, with the fences up, unless you want to don the combat hat and start getting some riot photography going along with it. Things have been a little crazy in your neck of the woods these days. But good for you. Congrats on the retirement. And just as a final, I would say Smugmug or Wix, we don't really have any competition in the sense there's not anyone that's built from the ground up just to sell wall art, right? And so there's like 100 different features that we have that those guys don't have, which is not necessarily a knock on Wix. I mean, Wix is just a generic feature thing, and Smugmug is really more just for having a digital gallery up. They don't really take the selling side of it all that seriously either, in my opinion, anyway.
Okay. As far as sizing for photos, are there any limitations to any photos?
No, not at all. I mean, are you talking about like the size that they are on the website, or are you talking about the sizes of the prints?
The size they are on the website.
No.
So like with your templates, are there any restrictions on sizing?
No, not at all. I mean, essentially what we do, everyone's pretty interested in image security, right? So you upload an image to the website, and that will be the one that you eventually want to get printed. And so our back end thing will calculate, okay, these are the sizes that you can print this thing out, and then you choose, and then we'll take your image and really shrink it down and make it small enough such that no one could reproduce it, and then it gets embedded on the e-commerce experience. But we have like a bunch of different ways of embedding images in pages, right? Like if it's not just a product page, we have like what we call experience pages, which the name aside, if you wanted to have a full, monitor to monitor wide image background is one of your pages and have some other stuff on it, you can do just about anything.
Okay.
Have you tried, Bruce, to sell your work yet, or are you literally just brand into the process?
I'm pretty into this process. I've sold some things over the years, but I've not done this on any kind of regular or serious basis at all.
Yep. Yeah, your most important job, because I'm assuming you have a huge archive that you could potentially comb through and potentially sell, but your most important job will just be to focus on the marketing side of things, right? Now, granted, because you're in DC, if we ever go back to normal, which I really hope we do, I think you do have some incredible like local, excuse me, local fair and show slash tourist sales opportunities if you set up some booths in some right places that I think could be really interesting. But in the meantime, you'll want to get going on the full tactical marketing such that you can get some attention to your photography.
Okay. Yes. That's what I want to do. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Jeff, you're up next. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, Patrick, I was on a previous, I guess maybe it was a preview of this kind of a call,
Mm-hmm.
and you mentioned, I'm a photographer,
Okay.
and you mentioned about the analysis of the photo files that is done or can be done that you offer, as well as I want to ask, do you offer the ability for me to send 35 millimeter film to be digitized?
No, we don't. So we don't do any of that from a service side of the thing.
Okay.
What we do is we have, well, I mean, the digital stuff is easy, right? The digital stuff is easy. You got that sorted out. Like the digital is not a problem. You've got those files. You upload those, done. The slides, there's like a number of different services that are really, really good at scanning and do it in bulk, and
Yeah.
no one can compete with their prices. Like it's just insane
Right.
because they have the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's a little bit like I have to send these things somewhere. It's terrifying on one level, right? But you can just do it in batches, small batches if you like, and it's the cheapest way to get it done. No one could compete.
Or I've got to buy a digitizer myself.
No,
and do
don't
it.
do it. Don't do it. Do not do it. Do not do it yourself.
Okay.
It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Like it's actually like a pretty time consuming process. And I say this as someone that had like I had the Nikon amazing one. It was killer. It was killer. I actually made money on this device back in the day, but it had like a large, plugged into the computer, had like a large cartridge like that. I was able to load like 50 at a time, and it was just so slow and arduous to go through that process. And then the ones not rotated right, like give it to the people that have this thing just down to a science and just
Dial it in.
yeah,
Yep.
just pay for it. It's totally not worth your time you could
But
spend on the marketing, Jeff.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But as far as your fulfillment center, is that who would analyze my images
Yes.
to determine
Yes.
right what I can print?
Yeah, the software essentially does that. So you upload the image after it goes through its whole process and gets uploaded and everything else. Our algorithm spits back and says, "Okay, Jeff, based on what you just sent us, here are the sizes you can go. Which ones do you want to do?" Right, from high to low. Yeah,
that's what I need.
Yeah, it's really simple. What kind of work do you do?
My photography is really art form stuff, images, and then what I used to call I was a heavy darkroom guy. I now do that in the computer, do enhanced images, parts of things, just all kinds of stuff that is just more decorative art form. It could be a unique landscape that was turned into what somebody might think was painting was involved.
Okay.
Changing the lighting structure of it, just unique stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, those can sell extremely well. It brings up some early marketing challenges because if you can't explain it in 3 sentences or less, no one's going to be able to find it in a search engine, right? So you're gonna have to market it on your own. But every little niche has its own ups and downs.
But is that some consulting I can get from you all?
Oh, all year long. All year long. That's literally like the whole secret sauce of what we do. Like every single solitary. I mean, I have 3 of these a week and have been since March. And between this and my customers, like I have this winded down to the only problem that matters, which is like you all need attention for your work. That's it. The good news is, where are the other sources if you want to buy art or photography right now? No one can go to fairs or shows anymore because they're not really happening. Majority of the retail galleries are closed down. The online galleries, which you could say, the Saatchis, the Etsy's, the Redbubbles, the what's the other one? I always forget about, Fine Art America. There is so much stuff on there that no one really gets discovered. Very few sell that are like actually established. And so, really the ideal buying experience is buying direct from the artist, buying direct from the photographer. If that's the case, wonderful. What's the biggest problem? Finding buyers, right? And that means marketing. And That's the one thing that stands in every single solitary person's way from building a good and sustainable business right now.
So I've got somewhere over 325 or more images in several categories.
Mm-hmm.
Is that somehow transferred to the website so it makes them easier to find?
Oh yeah. There's a whole bunch of different ways to organize it and do it, categorize it, and do absolutely all of that. And then we have a ton of guidance on it, on what it should look like in terms of how it's organized, how it's categorized, and all of that.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Okay. So Ann's asking, what are the subscription service levels, turnaround time for sales, pricing, etc. Turnaround time for sales. I'm going to unmute you, Annie. Let me find you. Okay. I've unmuted. You just need to hit the mic icon in the bottom left. Yep. Gotcha. Hiya.
Okay. It's thanks for doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I meant turnaround from when we sign up to when we start making sales.
Yeah,
like when we start.
It completely varies for every single solitary person, which is why you can't necessarily benchmark. Everyone comes in with like a different set of circumstances. Some people come in with large email addresses and large social media followings, and they've been doing this for a while, and they've paid off their entire investment 48 hours after they've launched. Others struggle for up to a year, sometimes even longer than that. If they've never sold their work before and they've never figured out it was sold, and then everything in between. The point is, it ends up being a fool's errand to try to compare your beginning to someone else's middle or your beginning to someone else's beginning, right? Like everyone has a different path on it. And anyone that would tell you like, you're going to be making X amount of sales by this date, or that date, you'll pay your entire investment off at this time, is lying to you, is selling you complete nonsense. So run away from anyone that does tell you that. Because it's just so completely different to everyone else. What I can say is we're very, very good at getting your website live and providing all the resources that it takes to do that. And I think we're averaging, most people, aside from the ones that are really tech challenged, we get live in 14 days or less. And then from there, we have a whole plan that you follow, how you announce the website, what that process looks like. You have a grand opening sale of sorts, and then it's right into active marketing. Uh-oh, I think you're muted again. I'll unmute you again, Annie.
Oh, thank you. That's what I meant about going live. That answers it. Mm-hmm. How about the subscription? Like, what do we do to get started? So how much do we need to come up with?
Yeah, so the way that we do it is it's sort of like the easiest way to think of it is a two-prong approach. Like one, we're like every other website company out there in the sense that they charge a monthly fee for the website, right? You sign up, you pay a monthly fee for the website. So, okay, great, we do that. The other thing that we do, though, is that we have the whole art business university, which is what we call it, which is, it's like a university quite literally. There's so many different things that we do in there to teach you to market and sell your art. And so in order to pay for that and the staff and everyone to do that, we charge a one-time fee to essentially get into that university. It's a simplified way of thinking about it. And the lowest plan, I believe, to get in is $1,000. It's a one-time fee. And then you pay the monthly fee on the website, which I think is $49 or $39, somewhere around there. You'd have to request a demo to ask. And, the interesting thing about it is it sort of does sound like hyperbole up front when we say, like, the only way that we make it as a business is if our customers are successful. But that's it. Like, if we don't have successful customers, if we have a bunch of artists that sign up, a bunch of photographers that sign up and don't sell anything, we're going to go out of business very quickly. And so we realized early on the only way or the best way we found so far to ensure you're giving yourself the best odds of having successful customers is having that marketing support there for the lifetime of you being a customer, right? And also what we found too, which is really interesting, because prior, how many other artists or photographers do you know that sign up for one website and they're there for a little bit of time and they're like, I'm not really getting the results that I want, and then they leave that website and they go get another website and they don't really get the results that they want there. Then they go and try an online gallery and they're just constantly hopping around throughout their careers, custom website they spend all the money on, everything else. They're not solving the only problem that is the actual problem, which is you need to learn how to market your art. And so that's why we do what we do. It forces you to take your marketing very seriously right out of the gates, and in our estimation, gives you the greatest chance of success. if that all made sense. Got me kind of ranting there. I'm going to unmute you one more time, Annie.
Oh, thank you. I was typing desperately.
That's okay.
So what's the best way of raising those funds? I lost everything in COVID, so I don't have like credit or anything right now,
For
but
sure. Totally understand.
would it be like we should sell a certain number on our own so we can pay that lump sum in the first few months so we know that it's sustainable?
Yeah, I would even
do
go back.
payment plans? How does it work?
We do payment plans, but I don't recommend them, and I don't think you should do them. I think, you know, if you're in a situation where let me ask this: have you sold your art before to people not named mom, dad, family, friends? I think she muted again. Zoom makes you unmute every time.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. It's
Thank you
just
so
the
much.
nature of Zoom. It's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've pretty much just painted for myself
Mhm.
and did a few sip and paints.
Yep.
But it's good enough that I could use some of my photography and some of my painting for my book covers.
Mhm.
I do a publishing company as well,
Mhm.
and I write like I've been up since 2 a.m. writing, and so like it's pretty much been just that
Mhm.
so far. So I'm very much a newbie with the business side.
Yeah. So what I would say early on, like, you know, no one can tell you whether or not your work will sell except attempting to sell it, right? So
Sure.
you know, the easiest way to figure that out in a pre-pandemic world was get a booth at a fair or a show, put your work in the booth, sit there for the day, and see if you can't sell it, right? Because until you've actually tried that, you'll never actually know if people will buy it. The only thing that can tell you is the transaction actually happening. Now, in pandemic times, that's become a little bit more difficult. So what we've sort of advocated for in pandemic times is use this thing, go live on whatever social media following you have the biggest following, and say, "What's up, guys? It's me, Annie. You know, I'm contemplating launching my art business, and as such, I'm going to try to sell all of my existing inventory, and so I just want to show it to them and show them piece by piece and talk about each piece, talk about the inspiration, let them know that no reasonable offer will be refused, let them know that you take PayPal, Venmo, or good old-fashioned check to the front door, cycle through the pieces, and see what happens. And, you know, it's okay to encourage, you know, friends and family to get you to help in that particular situation, but the work has got to move. You know what I mean? It's got to move before you waste a bunch of time, energy, and effort. And you could find that you sold out immediately. Okay, well, you've got a business on your hands. Or you could find that you couldn't give the work away, or some situation in between. And you honestly don't know. Like, you have no idea until you try. I see every single solitary situation imaginable. I see people that tell me that they have sold so much before and that they have no problem, and they go and do it and no one buys anything. And then I've seen the complete opposite and everything in between. So you just don't know until you know. You got to give it a shot.
I want to ask you a question.
Please.
So I also collect art, and I've done that through actually eBay.
Yep.
And a local art gallery in a small town called Middleburg, Virginia, and even at the thrift store.
Yep.
Sometimes people give away really valuable things. So would that, I mean, not through a thrift store, but would those be proper venues to try as well? Would that be a sort of
yeah.
pandemic way to?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Anywhere where a transaction takes place is A-okay with me. Oh, I think that I'm gonna unmute you one more time. But yeah, anywhere you can get the transaction going, Annie, is worth it. So just like figure out somewhere where you can take a shot. If you find that the work is moving, then you're in business. You're ready to take the next step.
Okay, and payment. I hate PayPal. I've had my identity stolen several times through there and dealt with shady vendors and all this stuff.
Yep.
And so do I need to just kind of get over that? Do you think Venmo is better? I've even heard
the dirty little secret.
funds.
The dirty little secret is that PayPal owns Venmo, And yeah, Venmo's
Of course.
yeah, of course. Venmo's a lot easier, but don't get hung up on the how, right? Like take check.
Yeah.
Check or good old fashioned cash.
Square,
Yeah,
right?
Square.
Square.
Yep, Square totally
Okay.
works too.
Okay.
Whatever
All right.
you're
Thank you
comfortable
so
with,
much.
they'll all work. And get some sleep if you've been up since that late writing. Thanks for the questions, Andy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we always tend to overcomplicate things, especially early on. Like whatever it takes to get that product to market and get a transaction, that's literally all that matters. Yeah. So Monica, I'm not sure I totally understand what your question is. I'm going to try and unmute you as well, Monica. Go ahead. You'll have to hit the mic icon, bottom left-hand corner.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks. So I've done some marketing, and you were mentioning in the video that there's a kind of a level of packages that you and my mentor used to call it like small, medium, super size, like make it really enticing and throw in a bunch of free things for the biggest package. So you were mentioning also a $1,000 price point. Yeah. Any other, and also that you could do payment options. But I mean, when someone comes in with, let's say, pictures of landscapes, who has like, this is for my friend. So he has no marketing, anything, and he has no, and I'm kind of volunteering to walk him through this process. So what are the options to start with?
Well, let's start at the very beginning. Do they have some talent, and do they absolutely want to make it?
Yeah, I mean, he'll have some time. Yeah.
But does he really want to be a selling artist, and is he willing to work at it?
I think if he understands how it works, he'll be more, because his art is, the photography is amazing. It's like National Geographic. It's like, but he gets frozen. Yeah.
I've seen so many examples of that, by the way. Just like sometimes it comes down to like pricing, like just being mortified to even set a price or even contemplate a price, and then other ways too. My concern is this: is like, you do have to market yourself, and you do have to do it consistently. And it turns out a photo business is not different than any other business. It takes years to build a good size one, right? So if you feel like he's got that commitment level, and you're just, you're taking the horse down to water, and that once he learns how to drink, he'll drink on his own, then good. If not, though, if he's not willing to do anything, if all of that whole process is just like mortifying to him, then that scares me a little bit. I don't want you to waste your time. Like, you might be in a situation where the only way it'll work for him is if he's just a creator and somebody else does the marketing for him. Which is a hard prospect early on, because the beginning years, especially when you've never done anything, are usually pretty slim in terms of how much money is coming in, right? So you have to think through those things, and I think they're important. Where has he sold his work before, or has he?
I don't think he has. He's basically turned his Facebook profile, his personal profile, into showing people his photos. And I think seldomly people are like, oh, can I buy a print? I think that's where it stops. I don't think that he understands how to actually go from, A to B with that. So
there's at least a little marketing, though. At least he's sharing things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where I would kind of come in as like someone who, with your team's help, like start him off on, like, show him the vehicle that actually drives, and and go from there.
Yes.
I paint, and I cannot part with my paintings, but I mean, I can make prints of my paintings, and it's been really like, I guess it comes down to self-worth, right? It's like,
it totally is.
Do we is this worthy enough to share and sell and actually profit from it? So
100%. And there's like so many human tendencies to put baggage and friction in the process, right? Sometimes you do need a friend to carry you kicking and screaming over the line, right? Like,
Yep.
at the end of the day, you're a creator, right? And do you want to make a sustainable living off your creation? No one's saying you have to. If you want to, awesome. If you don't, it's just a hobby, right? So
Right.
you sort of need to make that commitment. But if you feel like the commitment level is there, what I would do is I would request a demo and make him come to the demo with you, so that both of you guys can see it, see all the bells and whistles. Let somebody from my team walk you through the whole thing, and then say, okay, let's just take some time and think about it, right? Do you think you could do this? Like, do you, just, my worry for you is you carry him kicking, screaming over the line, and he's just like, no, I don't want to do it, right? Like, he's got to be bought in from the get-go. Is it stated another way?
I think he's open. I don't think it's kicking and screaming. I just think that he doesn't know, and he's an entrepreneur. He's a dog trainer, and he does really well with that. He knows how to sell packages and things like that.
Oh, then he's got
just
it.
so
Yeah, he's got it all day. He just needs a little kick in the pants and some confidence.
yeah.
We have those on standard. Don't worry. We pull the kick in the pants right down from the shelf. A lot of times it's me giving it too, by the way. So,
Good.
I mean, I shouldn't even be saying this, but I have had one gal, okay, who she is a sweetheart, okay, and she was mortified about this pricing situation. So, the sessions that we have internally, we call office hours. And so it was on an office hours session, and I was like, I'm not going to say her name. I was like, listen, get out of the way. Okay. Go away from your computer, and I am going to raise all of the prices on your site. You're not even going to look at it. You're not going to see it. You're not going to touch it. And I literally went in and raised all of her prices, and she made some sales, and now she's totally gotten past it, and she's moved on. Sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you need it. It's like you can actually raise your prices and people will pay for it. Just get out of the way. So we can help with all of that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
And you're a good friend, Monica.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, Bruce, how many different templates do we offer? We offer like, I don't know, is there maybe 10 or so? I would say somewhere around 10. But the tendency early on is like to spend so much time, energy, and effort worrying about the website. Our goal is to get your website up, get it to take credit card, and get you selling instantaneously. You can continue to tinker with the website in the extra time you have on the side, but it's get live, start making some noise, start getting some attention, and see where you go from there. Oh, Brian, I forgot about you too. I'm going to unmute you. I know you sent me an email. Brian Naylor, you're unmuted. Do you want to ask me those questions directly? I think Brian's passively listening. Are you there, Brian? He might not be there. Oh, maybe I will have to respond to his email. Okay. Guys, further questions? Anything? While we're here. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. I think it's good start to a Monday. Guys, thanks for spending the time with us. We do run 3 of these a week, and so if you feel like you didn't get your questions asked or you thought about something after the fact, you can certainly come back to a future one and ask any questions. Or, if you follow us on any of the socials, these things are always live. You can pop in, and I do see the questions, and I can answer them live and directly. The one thing I would say is if you're just kind of, just figuring out art storefronts, just getting to know us, just doing your homework, researching everything else, we have a really, really good YouTube channel, and I'll send you an email with the link to it after the fact. Some of the videos and the content that we put out there is awesome. It's totally free. You can totally learn some amazing stuff on it and keep up to date with what we're doing. So would totally recommend that. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and spending some time today, and hope to see you guys all again.